What's up, gang? CJ Curry here. I'm back again to fulfill my promise. You guys held up your end of the bargain by getting me 100 or more likes in the MLB video I dropped earlier in the day. So here I am doing double duty for you guys because, well, I love you. Let's put it that way. If you're new to the channel and haven't subscribed yet, subscribe now. We're on our way to 30,000 subs. Thank you so much for all the likes. We swept yesterday's picks. The MLB picks went 3-0. So if you tailed yesterday's MLB picks, the ones that I featured in the video, well, then you should be a very happy camper because all three of the picks hit. Now we're going to try and do that again in today's video, talking about some NBA play-in games. We've got the Atlanta Hawks at the Orlando Magic, and we've got the Memphis Grizzlies and Golden State Warriors going at it, so it should be some good night of NBA basketball. But before we get into that, I have to pick somebody from the comment section in yesterday's video because I've been giving away a free month of Dub Club each and every day to one of you loyal viewers out there. All you have to do is be a subscriber, hit the like button for me, and comment your favorite player prop of the day. And if I pick your player prop from the comment section randomly and it happens to be a winning pick, well, then you'll win a free month of Dub Club. It's as easy as that. So today's winner is going to be the 15th Club 40. Who commented Aaron Judge over 0.5 singles. I'm happy to announce that Aaron Judge did have more than 0.5 singles, so congratulations to you. All you have to do now is use the link down in the description of today's video. Join our free Discord. Once you're joined, then go ahead and shoot me a DM. I'll send you a special Dub Club link that will get you a 1-month access to all the picks, plays, and parlays that we are sending out to our community members each and every day. So congratulations to you. Now, speaking of Dub Club members have an even bigger reason to smile. Yes, the YouTube viewers got the 3-0 sweep. All the picks in the YouTube video yesterday hit, or in the MLB video hit. But Dub Club members, they got themselves a 25x banger right here that I sent out to the community. Now, I risked $40. I turned it into $1,000. I went 6 for 6. It was an amazing day. Ended up getting 11 out of 12 picks right that I sent out to YouTube, Dub Club, Discord, all of the above. So all my MLB picks, and as you can see, I got one NHL pick in here, but we ended up going 11 for 12. Absolutely massive day over in Dub Club. So if you're interested in joining the Dub Club, it's as little as 67 cents per day, $5 a week, $20 a month, however you want to break it down. It's totally up to you. But you start off with a 7-day free trial. After that trial runs out, then you guys can decide whether or not you want to stay for a month, 3 months, 6 months, or even a full year. It gets cheaper the longer you decide to subscribe for. So if you like the content here on YouTube, you want to support me, and you want to get access to all the picks, plays, and parlays that me and the rest of the community members are running each and every day, Dub Club's the way to do that. And I just want to say thank you in advance for all the love and support. All right, with that out of the way, let's get into the NBA picks for these NBA play-in games here on Taco Tuesday. We got a number of different options. I've dug up what look like to be some pretty good ones over here on PrizePicks. So if you're not a PrizePicks player yet, you got to make your first deposit. Risk $5. They're going to give you $50 back. It's as easy as that. Use promo code CJ Curry to take advantage of this offer. Links to everything that I discussed in the video down in the description. So let's start with this one, Jimmy Butler of the Golden State Warriors. I was looking at him for less than 13.5 rebounds and assists. Not only is it a plus EV play, not only is he projecting to go under on multiple NBA models, but he also has pretty poor hit rates both throughout the regular season since joining the Warriors and against the Memphis Grizzlies in his head-to-head game. So let's take a look at this a little bit closer here over on PrizePicks. Now, if you could get this at 13.5 rebounds and assists, I would definitely take the under, but we're going to go with the 13 because that's all PrizePicks is offering, and that's where I like to play my NBA player props. So we're going to go over here to the Daily Grind Fantasy Optimizer. This tool right here is a game changer. If you're not using it yet, you should definitely be considering using this for all your PrizePicks, Underdog, Sleeper, Better, and a bunch of other sites, all your picks basically. This right here is going to go out and scan all the different sports books. It's going to gather up the odds, the way that the juice is coming in on these props, over, under, and then it's going to strip out the vig. So you're going to get fair odds, true odds of a player prop hitting. This one's got almost a 52% chance of cashing for us, meaning 13 or fewer rebounds and assists for Jimmy Butler. You can see he's at 12.5 rebounds and assists on most sports books out there. So now that we know that it is a positive expected value play, let's run some projections here on Jimmy Butler. Now, the first projection that I'm going to go and pull up is this one here over on RotoWire. If you go and type in Jimmy Butler's name, you can see that a lot of the different options for Jimmy Butler's player props are leaning less according to the RotoWire tool. Now, what this RotoWire tool does is it basically looks at the DFS pick'em sites, the sports books, it's looking at their proprietary projection models, and it's looking at a player's hit rates. And as you can see, the top under or lean less option for Jimmy Butler is going to be the 13 rebounds and assists. Now, you can open up this player card and dig in a little deeper here with Jimmy Butler. And when you do that, you can see he's projected for about 10.88 rebounds plus assists, which is a differential of more than 2.1 rebounds and assists. So they have him going under. Now, if we take a look at Jimmy Butler's last 10 to 20 games, I mean, he has stayed under this pretty consistently. In fact, he's only went over 13 rebounds and assists one time in his last 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 games. All right, so he's only went over once in his last 12 games at 13 rebounds and assists. Now, you take a look at the matchup against the Memphis Grizzlies. The last 3 times that he's played Memphis, now these weren't all as a member of the Golden State Warriors. Some of these were with the Miami Heat, but head-to-head speaking, he is 0 for 3 or 3 for 3 at staying under. So he has not gone over this number in his last 3 head-to-head matchups against Memphis. Most recently, April the 1st at Memphis, he recorded 10 rebounds plus assists. So that was from this season as a member of the Golden State Warriors. He ended up staying under in that particular game. So now that we have one projection on Jimmy Butler, let's check a couple of different ones here. We're going to go over to shot quality, which is another really good NBA player prop projection model. And we take a look at the projection for Jimmy Butler over there for the rebounds and assists. He is projecting for 12 RA, so a whole rebound plus assist lower than what his line currently sits at, which is 13. One more projection. This one's presented by LineStar. LineStar does a really good job of covering a variety of different sports with a variety of different projections for player props. And we're looking at Jimmy Butler over here. He's projected for just 9.7 rebounds plus assists as well. So a very big projection for the under here on Jimmy Butler. So that's why I'm leaning under on Jimmy Butler. Let's go to pick number 2. For this one, we're sticking with the Golden State Warriors. I'm looking at Kevon Looney here for less than 11.5 points, rebounds, and assists. Now, you can play this one with the Jimmy Butler pick, or what I would probably recommend is splitting them up. I don't like taking 2 players that have overlap. In other words, Looney and Butler, both for rebounds and assists, and both for an under. I kind of like splitting them up because they kind of negatively correlate when you play both players together for the under on a similar prop like rebounds and assists. So anyway, I would split them up. Take Butler in one slip, probably take Looney in another slip. But the less on the 11.5 points, rebounds, and assists for Looney looking like the positive expected value way to go here. Let's take a look at where he's at on the Daily Grind Fantasy Optimizer. Again, if you want access to this tool and you want to save some money on your first month of this tool, go down in the description of today's video, link down there for you guys to save a little moolah when you use my promo code. But taking a look at Looney at 11.5 PRA, 52.22% chance of him staying under. True odds on this one, minus 130. You can see he's over on BetMGM as a minus 140 betting favorite, underdog, minus 122. So Fliff, another like pseudo sports book, they have him at 10.5 points, rebounds, and assists. So the 11.5 looks a little bit too high here for Looney, especially when you start factoring some of these projections. When we go over here to RotoWire, we punch in Looney's name, you're going to see a nice list of Kevon Looney unders or lean less options. The top one being the PRA. His minutes have been kind of shaky. They've been playing guys like Draymond Green at center, Quentin Post at center. And so Looney's minutes aren't necessarily solid. I mean, he's gone up, gone down in some games, but his projection today is very, very low. 7.49 projected points, rebounds, and assists. That's 4 PRA lower than what his line is currently posted at 11.5 PRA. When we take a look at the hit rates for Kevon Looney here for the 2024 season, he's 53% at going over. Now, the last 10 games or so, he's only gone over in 4 out of his last 10. That's a 40% hit rate. He's averaging right around 10 points, rebounds, and assists per game in that span. When you take a look at the head-to-heads versus Memphis, the last 5 times that he's faced the Grizzlies, he's went over in just 2 out of 5 games. This season, he is just 1 for 3 in the most recent matchup against the Memphis Grizzlies. He only had 8 points, rebounds, and assists. That was back on April the 1st, that same game that we looked at for Jimmy Butler. So the projection, about 7.5 PRA. The line is 11.5. Let's look at a couple of other projections here for Kevon Looney. We'll go back over here to shot quality. You can find these projections over on Roto Grinders. It is a paid or premium projection system, but well worth it. Usually pretty sharp are these projections. Now, he's projected for about 8.03 PRA over on shot quality according to their projection model. So again, a far cry from 11.5, 12 PRA. If he has 12 or more, well, we're in deep doo-doo, so hopefully he doesn't. Hopefully he has 11 or fewer points, rebounds, and assists in this matchup. Let me get one more projection pulled up for you. We're going to go back over to Line Star and look at Looney there. His PRA projection over on Line Star is sitting here at 8.3 projected points, rebounds, and assists. So again, a far cry from 12 or 13 PRA. So I would be leaning toward the under here for Kevon Looney as well. So those are a couple of picks from the Golden State Warriors game. Let's take a look at the Orlando Magic Atlanta Hawks game, starting with this guy, Trae Young, who's sitting out here at 13.5 rebounds and assists. I'm leaning toward the under on this one as well. The total on this game is only about 217 points. It's going to be kind of a low-scoring game. I think most of the playoff games tend to be a little bit more low-scoring. The defensive intensity ramps up. They tend to play at a slower pace, trying to make less mistakes. And in Orlando's case, they're just a slow-paced team in general. And they ranked 15, or they were ranking first in defensive efficiency over the last 15 games of the NBA regular season. And so that will play a role here in Trae Young's ability to rack up assists. But take a look at some of the numbers behind this particular prop. If we go out here to the Daily Grind Fantasy Optimizer and we hit Trae Young's name up, you can see that there's a couple different ways you could play him. You could take the over on the points and rebounds at 29.5. That's a positive expected value play. In other words, FanDuel has him at 30.5. So does DraftKings. So does Caesars. So a little bit of momentum there behind the 29.5 PR. But the rebounds and assists is right behind that one. Now this one's for the under, about a 53% chance for this one to hit. Minus 140 betting favorite over on FanDuel. Minus 130 betting favorite to go under on DraftKings. So you're seeing some sites that are offering this prop where a lot of the betting public is smashing the under here on Trae Young to have less than 14 rebounds and assists. So now that we know that it's a positive expected value play, let's run some projections on Trae Young, starting with RotoWire once again. You're looking at the different Trae Young options here. The rebounds and assists is going to show up under the lean more option, but I want to show you the projection because that's all I'm concerned about is the projection for the most part. But you look at that projection, 13.09. Now, as I mentioned in previous videos, those of you who have been watching for a while, you shave another 10% off of these projections typically. At least you should. It's a good rule of thumb. So when you do that, he's going to have less than 13 rebounds and assists once you factor in that 10% that you're supposed to be taking off on these projections. Now, in terms of the hit rates, it's been okay in terms of hit rates. I wouldn't say that they're great. I wouldn't say that they're terrible. Now, I would say that they're terrible against Orlando. The last 6 times that he's faced the Orlando Magic, he's only went over 13.5 rebounds and assists one time, and that was January 17th. Outside of that, he's had 13 or fewer rebounds and assists, including the most recent matchup where he had 11 rebounds and assists versus Orlando on April the 8th. So he's done a good job this season, staying under 3 out of 4 times that he's played Orlando. He has stayed under 13.5 rebounds and assists. So good hit rates in this matchup versus the Magic. Now, let's check some other projections because, again, all projection models are not created equal. Each one's going to yield a slightly different result. And when we look at the shot quality projections here for Trae Young, he's projected for about 13.3 rebounds and assists. Again, shave off 10%, and that puts him at 13 or fewer. So I'm leaning toward the under on this particular prop. Going back over to Line Star, we're going to check the projections for Trae Young over there, another projection model. And when we look at this one, he's projected for about 11.9 rebounds and assists, so around 12 rebounds and assists if we just want to round it up, which is less than 13.5, which is, again, another good reason to lean under on this particular player prop. And one more. This one's going to be from the Orlando Magic side, my Orlando Magic. I hope they win the game. I'm looking at Franz Wagner. Now, there's a couple different ways that I like to play Franz Wagner. You could either go over on the 6 3-point attempts, or you could go under on the 9.5 field goal makes. Either one of these looked good to me. Had a hard time deciding which one I wanted to include in the video, so I'm going to include both, and we'll take a look at both of them on the various player projection models that I have access to. Starting with the 3-point attempts, going up against the Atlanta Hawks. Going back over here to RotoWire, we'll just jot down Franz Wagner's name, and when we look at the 3-point attempts for Wagner, you can see that for the most part, over the last 10 games, he's had 6 or more 3-point attempts in 7 out of his last 10 games. So he's done a pretty good job of hoisting up some 3 balls. Hopefully he does the same again against Atlanta. Now, speaking of Atlanta, you can see that the last few times that he's played the Atlanta Hawks, he has had at least 6 3-point attempts or more in 3 out of 5 matchups. So the head-to-head hit rates are pretty darn good here. Taking a look at the home games, he tends to kind of shoot a few more 3-pointers at home than he does on the road. The last few home games that he's appeared in, he's put up 6 or more 3-point attempts in 4 out of the last 6. So again, just hoping that he continues to be aggressive offensively and continues to shoot those threes up. Now, I mentioned the other one that I was liking was the under on the 9.5 field goal makes. This was the one that I initially wanted to lean more toward putting in the video, but I think the other one definitely has some legs as well. But taking a look at this one at 9.5 field goal makes, his projection today is 8.7 field goal makes. Now, if you look at the hit rates on this, he's only gone over 9.5 field goal makes in 38% of the games that he's appeared in, which means 62% of the time he is staying at less than 10 field goals made in the game. Now, if we look at the hit rates or the game logs here over the last like 20 games or so, I mean, he's only went over 1, 2, 3 times in his last 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17 games. He's only went over this 9.5 field goal make number in 3 out of the last 17 games. Now, against Atlanta, he is 1 for 5 head-to-head against the Hawks. He has only went over 1 time. And I believe that this game that he went over where he had 15 field goal makes might have been without Paolo Banchero. I'd have to go back and check the game logs, but Banchero was out for a stretch there. Not sure if this game included Banchero and or Suggs might have also been out, but you'd have to go back and kind of dig a little bit deeper on that particular piece of research. But nonetheless, I think the under here looks like a pretty good option for Franz Wagner at 9.5 field goal makes. Again, he could get fouled, go to the free throw line, that type of thing happens, or he could have a really bad shooting day and stay under 10 field goal makes. A lot of different ways that this could potentially go for the under if you're thinking about playing it. So now that we have the projection for the over on the 6 3-point attempts and the under on the 9.5 field goal makes on RotoWire, let's check over on shot quality for those same 2 player props. We'll just punch in Franz Wagner's name, and when we take a look at the 3-point attempts, he's projected for about 6.73 3-point attempts, so a little closer to 7 than 6. Even if you were to take the 10% off here, 6 or more should still be within Franz Wagner's wheelhouse here. The other one that we looked at was the 9.5 field goal makes. Now, they have him projected for about 7.2 3-point field goal, or 7.2 2-point field goal makes, and they have him projected for about 2 3-point field goal makes. So 7.2 plus 2 is about 9.2 total field goal makes between the 2-pointers and the 3-pointers. So that is less than 9.5. That is skewing more toward 9 or fewer field goal makes in this matchup against Atlanta. So those are the 2 different options for Franz Wagner. You can choose both, put them in 2 different slips, 2 different entries if you're liking them. Maybe you put that Kevon Looney play with one of these Franz Wagner plays, and then you put that Jimmy Butler play with one of these other Franz Wagner plays. Then you got yourself 2 different 2 picks that you could run. But this is the portion of the video where I turn things over to you guys. Are you liking these picks, hating these picks, tailing them, fading them? Let me know down in the comment section below. Remember, if you comment your favorite player prop of the day and I randomly select it in the next video, and you've already subscribed and hit the like button, well, then you could win a free month of Dub Club, which is the $20 value. But you could see, as you can see in this slip that we won, it could be a lot more valuable than that. I was able to turn a $40 slip into $1,000. So when we hit these big 25x slips, I mean, the $20 fee that you pay for Dub Club each month is, a drop in the bucket. But Nonetheless, good luck on all your picks, plays, and parlays. Enjoy your Taco Tuesday. We'll see you guys in the next video real soon. Peace.